Gotta crack the can open out another what if. I know that was cheesy as mess, but I'm sorry. Anyway, yo, what is up, 47ers? It's your boy JK47, and today we are here with part 2 of What If Turles Had a Son, my character's origin. So, today we're going to start off where we left off. By the way, I am accepting all artwork for these What If stories. So, if you guys want to go ahead and, send me some, Twitter is right here, IG right here, Discord right here, and, I'll even include the snap if you guys want, so boom, snap right here. So, without further ado, let's get on with what we got going on. So, back to what we were doing earlier. Piccolo challenges our young sand warrior. And this actually strikes the sand's inner sand pride, ready to fight the Namekian. I'm about to say Goku. Oh my god, I cannot talk whenever I'm doing this. So, Shadow looks at Piccolo, saying, "So, Green Man, are you ready to throw the hands? Or basically, are you ready to fight? Because I guarantee you, I'll take you down real quick." Piccolo's saying, "You sure act tough. You have that same bravado. At the same time, can you back it up?" Which causes Shadow to be a little bit more hostile to Piccolo than he originally wanted to. So, without thinking, Shadow hurries and rushes Piccolo with an onslaught of melee attacks. Piccolo noticing that these attacks aren't even packing much of a punch, at all. So, what's going on? The Sand, he's supposed to be a Sand, right? But he's strong. But he's not that strong. So what's going on? Maybe he's just holding back Piccolo's thought. So Piccolo decided to smack him across the face and basically sending him into a mountain. Not virtually destroying the mountain, but sending him into a mountain. Of course, Shadow this being Shadow's first actual battle, he's a little shaken. Like, hey, okay, that's it, Green Man. You got lucky. I guarantee you the next time you're not gonna be so lucky. Piccolo's like, I barely lifted my arm to attack him. I need to test something. So Piccolo gets ready to go on the attack. Shadow was not expecting how fast he was, so begins to block as many attacks as he can. This only working for a second until Piccolo catches Shadow off guard, setting him down to the ground. Shadow picks himself up, but is still kind of injured from the last attack. Remember, this is Shadow's first fight, so he's never been in an actual fight before. So he doesn't really know what to expect from Piccolo. Piccolo's like, this Sand is completely weak. He's nothing like any of the other Sands that we've ever fought. Not like Vegeta, not like Raditz or Nappa. Not even like that one Sand. This is weird. Then Shadow gets up and has a smirk on his face. This causes Piccolo to question what's going on. And then he says, "You're right in my attack." He's like, "What are you talking about?" So, if you guys all remember from Xenoverse or any other game that involved Turles, Shadow does remember one trademark move that Turles used to show him even as an infant, which was his signature kill driver. However, Shadow has been practicing it and trying to modify it as his own. Piccolo was confused at this at first, so until he saw 2 rings on his side. Once these rings were by his side, they caught him into like an electrical field. When this happens, Shadow's like, "Ha-ha! I got you! Now it's my turn to attack!" Piccolo realizes this restraint is tough, but it's not enough to keep him in forever. However, he's just going to humor the Sand just to see how strong these attacks really are. Shadow then goes up and releases a barrage of ki blasts upon Piccolo. Piccolo then tanking all of these because once again, Shadow isn't all that strong. So, he then proceeds, when he sees Piccolo unscathed by these attacks, he decides to get a more direct approach and proceeds to unleash an onslaught of melee attacks, kicks, punches, anything he can to get Piccolo to even phase a little bit. But Piccolo was just standing there, like he didn't even affect him at all. Piccolo kindly asked, "Are you done yet?" And with that being said, Piccolo, that basically messed with our Sand's head a little bit. He's like, "What? What do you mean is that all I've got?" Piccolo breaks out of the restraints and then smacks Shadow into a mountain again. This time him barely being able to get out. Piccolo saying, "If this is all you've got, then you're a disgrace to the Sand race." Shadow looked at him, and if that didn't set him off, nothing else would have. Then Shadow says, "I have one more attack." He's like, "Okay." Piccolo's like, "Then show me. Show me what your Saiyan pride is. Show me your Saiyan power." Shadow then forms another kill driver. Piccolo thinking it's the exact same attack. But this time, he does something different. Instead of launching the kill drivers before at him, he decides to form two of the kill drivers in front of him, making them look like galactic donuts in a way. Piccolo's like, "What is this kid doing?" And just like in Xenoverse, if we pull back, he then pulls back his hand for a full power energy wave. But instead of just blasting it like normal and then sending the kill drivers after him, he's decided to place them and then launch the beam inside of the circles, which case causes the beam to grow stronger, 2 times as strong than normal. This catches Piccolo's attention a little bit, and then Shadow screams with all of his might, "Kill Screwdriver!" With that being said, Kill Screwdriver basically goes through the kill drivers, and then is supposed to basically skewer your opponent. With that being said, Piccolo then decides, okay, this attack might actually be worth something. Launches a special beam cannon, which basically goes through the beam and basically grazes Shadow, basically. At the end of the day, Shadow then gets hurt, but then falls from unconsciousness after using up all of his energy. Piccolo walks up to him saying, "This Saiyan is nothing of what we faced before." Gohan looks at Piccolo. He's like, "What do you mean, Mr. Piccolo?" "Gohan, this Saiyan is completely and utterly weak. I wonder, who exactly is this kid?" Then, out of nowhere, it's actually Turles' son! And that causes Gohan and Piccolo to look up, noticing it's Raditz. Piccolo's still not really trusting of the Saiyan, of course, but Gohan kind of getting back to like his naive and childish ways. "Ah, Uncle Raditz! Hey, what's up?" Raditz looks at him and says, "Hello, Gohan. Your father is still in the hospital after that fight with Vegeta and Turles, of course, so not much that we can really do at the time." So Raditz takes one good look at Shadow once again, saying, well, if it isn't Turles' son, Shadow." Piccolo saying, "You know this Saiyan?" "Of course, Green Man. I know this Saiyan because, well, I'm basically his uncle too." Gohan looked at him saying, "Wait a minute, does that mean Turles was also your brother?" Raditz looking at him like, "No, you fool, he was not my brother. We were just good friends. He helped me in a tournament, so I paid him back by being the god uncle to his children." And that basically caught Gohan's attention and said, "Okay, that makes sense." Piccolo's saying, "So are you saying that this kid is out for vengeance?" Raditz saying, I'm not sure for certain. However, he's here on Earth for a reason. So they decide to just take Shadow on and let him rest it off for the time being. Gohan, Piccolo, and Raditz are all sitting there by the fire talking, basically saying, "Okay, so based on what you've seen, how strong do you think he is?" Piccolo then shakes his head, saying he's at least as strong as Gohan was before the training, and he has no latent ability so far. And this basically causes Raditz to be like, "Huh? So if we were on planet Vegeta, he definitely would have been sent off world, along with Kakarot, if that was the case, like Kakarot was." And then Gohan saying, "I'm not sure if that's the case at all," just causing both of the adults to look at Gohan. Piccolo asking, "What do you mean, Gohan?" Gohan saying, "I'm not sure. There's just something about him. Maybe he does have some latent ability. We just never know. He's probably just hiding it because he doesn't want anybody to know yet." Piccolo saying, "Gohan, I tested his power myself. He's not that strong, but I guess all Saiyans have potential, I suppose." This causes Gohan to saying, "Definitely. I'm pretty sure he's going to be a really strong Saiyan and a good ally if we could just get him on our side." Raditz saying, "There's no evil intent in the kid. Trust me." So he was around his mother most of the time. Which reminds me, I wonder where she is and why she isn't with him. Gohan saying, "Maybe something terrible happened." Raditz getting a bad feeling and possibly agreeing with the young Saiyan. But let's just rest aside and let it all go for the night. The next morning, Shadow wakes up and is in a bit of pain and basically doing the signature, holding his right arm for like Vegeta would do. He's like, "What happened?" Getting a fresh flashback too, remembering that Piccolo beat him without so much as breaking a sweat. This causes Shadow to feel basically weak. Made him feel like he was worth nothing. He was worthless. And this actually brings tears to the young Saiyan, saying, I couldn't beat the Green Man. If I can't beat him, how can I beat Kakarot? If I can't beat the Green Man, then how am I supposed to beat my target? How am I supposed to avenge my father? Raditz walking up behind the Saiyan. Oh, I moved my camera a little bit. Raditz walking up behind the Saiyan and saying, well, you need to train a lot. Which causes Shadow to do a double take, seeing his uncle. And this actually causes Shadow to look and remember him as well. Remember, Shadow was a bit of an infant at the time, but most Saiyans are memorable of some things. Shadow having more intelligence than Braun, more brains than Braun in this case. Looking at Raditz saying, Uncle Raditz? Raditz kind of surprised to even know that the boy remembered him. And then what surprised him more was that Shadow running up to Raditz and hugging him. And basically going out and crying out, saying, Uncle, it's been so long. He's crying into Raditz. Raditz, at most times like to keep the composure. But Raditz at first saying, it's okay, brat. It's good to see you too. So tell me, what happened? Shadow goes down the whole story telling him what happened to his mother, which causes Raditz to somewhat lose his temper a little bit. Because Citrus was kind of like a sister to him. He saw her as a sister. She was pretty cool. She was chill. So when he realized that, when he's now figured out that Frieza's man is the one that killed her, he now has a score to settle with Frieza. That reminds him that they need to go see their brother that he needs to go see his brother. Shadow remembering, your brother? I didn't know you had a brother. Then he realizes, crap, he might try and fight him. I gotta think of something. Gohan asks Raditz, ask him if he could go with him. He says, of course, it's his father. He asks Piccolo if he wants to go see him too. Piccolo, again, being an introvert, saying, no, I'd rather sit here and meditate, which he ends up doing. Shadow asks if we can come along as well, and he says, sure, just don't cause any problems, which, of course, he decides to go and do. He was not going to do any problems, but he's just going to follow along with his uncle. Then he says, so, uncle, how strong is your brother? He says he's pretty strong. He was able to take down the Prince of Saiyans without even a problem. And then Shadow raises a flag for Shadow. The Prince of Saiyans? So there was a Saiyan prince? From where? Raditz then decides to tell him the brief story of the Saiyan race, which piques Shadow's interest. Then he's saying, all right, uncle, if that's the case, maybe you can help me find this guy. And he's like, what are you talking about? And then he looks at Gohan saying, well, this is what happened. You see, when I was just barely able to walk and talk, I remember my mother telling me about this one Saiyan that killed my father. Ever since then, I've had the urge to take him down. And then Gohan saying, so who is this guy? Who is this guy anyway? Shadow looks at him saying, it's a Saiyan named Kakarot, which causes Raditz and Gohan to just shake a little bit. Raditz knowing who Kakarot is, as does Gohan. So now, how is this going to play out with the rest of the story? Will Shadow figure out that it's Kakarot when he gets to the hospital, or will by some miraculous little story plot will he be able to slide by and not have to fight Shadow at this point in time? Also, what is Raditz going to do? How is he going to get strong enough to take down Goku at this point in time? Well, we're going to find that out in the next What If. So, hope you guys enjoyed this part of What If Turles Had a Son. Be sure to leave a like. Remember to follow me on all of my social media. And you guys, you'll get a shout out too if you guys post some really good artwork. I mean, if you guys are interested, please do some artwork, please. I really would appreciate it, please. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.